Every ride carries a risk that pushes riders to the very edge of survival. Over the years, arenas have witnessed breathtaking victories, but also moments so shocking that they left crowds speechless. From fatal collisions to career-ending injuries, the history of bull riding is filled with unforgettable wrecks that test human strength against raw animal power. Join us as we reveal the 20 most terrifying OMG moments in bull riding history. These are the rides that made fans gasp, heart stop, and legends rise and fall. Brace yourself. What you're about to see isn't for the faint of heart. 20. The loss of Glenn Keeley. On March 24, 2000, Canadian bull rider Glenn Keeley competed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, ranked 9th in the world. The 30-year-old drew Promised Land, the 1999 PBR Bull of the Year in what would become professional bull riding's first high-profile North American fatality in 6 years. When the gate opened, Promised Land bucked explosively. Keeley was thrown and the bull's hind legs struck his chest. It was an OMG moment for the crowd, watching in shock as the impact sent him crashing down. Despite the blow, he walked from the arena, refusing a stretcher. At the University of New Mexico Hospital, doctors discovered liver lacerations and massive internal bleeding. Emergency surgery couldn't save him, and Keeley died before 10 p.m. His death shocked the rodeo community. Keeley's brother, Jason, had previously spent 2 weeks in a coma from a bull riding accident. Yet, Glenn remained passionate about the sport's thrill and camaraderie. The Albuquerque event continued under a somber cloud with riders wearing memorial stickers. 19. Tag Elliott's terrifying collision. On July 24, 2007, 19-year-old Tag Elliott from Thatcher, Utah faced a career-defining moment at Salt Lake City's Days of 47 rodeo. Ranked 24th worldwide after winning the Utah High School Rodeo Finals, Elliott drew Werewolf, a 1,500-pound bull notorious for aggression. Within 2 seconds of the shoot-ute opening, Werewolf's horn slammed into Elliott's face, knocking him unconscious. At LDS Hospital, doctors found multiple fractures. Jaw, eye socket, and facial bones were shattered. He lost several teeth and required hours of surgery. Elliott's recovery demanded over 20 surgeries across 20 months, including metal plates and bone grafts. Yet, he never considered quitting. By 2009, he was riding again, and in 2012, he qualified for the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas. He also captured significant wins in Austin and Pocatello. Though another arm injury eventually slowed him, Elliott continued ranch work and remained active in rodeo circles. Doctors considered his reconstruction among their most challenging cases. 18. J.B. Monte's career-ending neck injury. On September 6, 2023, two-time PBR world champion J.B. Monte faced Arctic Assassin in Lewin, Idaho. Born in 1987, Monte had built a legendary career since joining the PBR in 2006, winning world titles in 2013 and 2015, and earning the nickname Dragon Slayer for conquering infamous bulls like Bushwhacker. When the chute opened, Monte was thrown forward, landing on his head and neck. At St. Joseph Regional Medical Center, X-rays revealed a broken neck. Surgeons removed a damaged disc, inserting a rod, plates, and screws to stabilize his spine. At 36, Monte announced his retirement. The decision surprised fans who'd witnessed his fearless approach throughout nearly 2 decades. Country singer Parker McCallum called him the GOAT, and fellow writers flooded social media with tributes. Monte's career featured multiple PBR World Finals qualifications and record-breaking earnings exceeding $7 million. He'd endured countless injuries, concussions, broken legs, facial fractures, and a lacerated kidney, always returning to competition. However, doctors warned that continuing posed catastrophic risks to his mobility and life. Though the retirement ended his competitive chapter abruptly, Monte's legacy remains significant in modern bull riding history. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to heal and focus on family, acknowledging he would miss the competition's rush. 17. Lane Frost, Cheyenne, Wyoming. July 30, 1989. A cold, rainy day at Cheyenne Frontier Days. 25-year-old Lane Frost, the 1987 PRCA World Champion. Young Lane Frost is back in Del Rio one more time. He repeats his champion as the world's greatest bull rider. drew a Brahma bull named taken care of business. The arena floor had turned to mud. At 3:30 p.m., Frost nodded his head and the chute opened. 8 seconds later, the whistle blew. Frost had scored 85 points, a successful ride. But as he dismounted, he landed awkwardly in the bull's eyesight. The bull stepped on Frost's chaps and hooked him in the back with its right horn. The horn didn't puncture skin, but the force was devastating. It was an OMG moment as the bull's entire body weight concentrated at the end of that horn, breaking several of Frost's ribs. One punctured a main artery. Frost stood up. He waved toward the bull fighters for help. Then he collapsed face first into the muddy arena floor. He was rushed to Memorial Hospital and pronounced dead at 3:59 p.m. The rodeo world was shattered. Lane Frost's death led directly to the mandatory protective vest rule. His friend Cody Lambert designed the protective gear that all riders now wear. Before Frost, protective equipment was optional. After Frost, it became law. 16. Tuff Hedeman vs. Bodacious. Tuff Hedeman, a dominant 1990s bull rider with multiple PRCA World Champion titles, faced his most notorious challenge in 1995 at the PBR World Finals in Las Vegas. His opponent was Bodacious, infamously dubbed the world's most dangerous bull for hospitalizing countless riders with violent, unpredictable moves. When the chute opened, Bodacious exploded upward, his massive skull smashing directly into Hedeman's face. The impact shattered bones throughout his face, requiring extensive reconstruction with titanium plates at University Medical Center. The injuries were so severe that his young son didn't recognize him initially. Remarkably, Hedeman returned to competition within 6 weeks at the National Finals Rodeo. When given another chance to ride Bodacious, he simply shook his head and walked away, a decision the crowd applauded. Bodacious was retired shortly after in 1995. Doctors noted that a slightly different angle could have caused permanent blindness or brain damage. Hedeman credited the quick medical response for saving his life. He continued his career successfully, later becoming a promoter, mentor, and commentator. 15. Brent Thurman's fatal ride. On December 11, 1994, 25-year-old Brent Thurman from Austin, Texas, competed at the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas. Known for steady focus and strong technique, Thurman had earned his NFR spot through consistent seasonal performance. Thurman mounted Red Wolf that evening. Initially, the ride showed controlled precision through several seconds. However, a violent spin threw him to the ground. As he scrambled clear, the bull's hooves struck his chest and head brutally. Paramedics found him unconscious and unresponsive. At University Medical Center, doctors identified extensive skull and torso trauma. Despite aggressive treatment, Thurman died the following day. He became the first bull rider to die at the NFR in years, stunning the rodeo community. Tributes poured in describing him as humble, driven, and passionate. His death intensified conversations about preventing future fatalities. 14. Ty Murray's close call. In 1995, Ty Murray, king of the Cowboys, dominated PRCA events with multiple all-around titles. At a sanctioned event, Murray drew a bull notorious for bone-jarring spins, and fans anticipated another trademark performance from the champion. When the chute opened, the bull surged relentlessly, jerking Murray off balance. Within seconds, he was tossed forward onto his shoulder and neck. As he rolled away, the bull's hoof hammered his back, pinning him momentarily. Rodeo clowns distracted the animal while paramedics reached the immobilized, gasping Murray. Hospital examinations raised spinal injury concerns. Fortunately, X-rays showed no fractures, but severe bruising and muscle trauma required extensive rest. Doctors advised weeks away from competition. Yet Murray returned sooner than recommended. Driven by points and competitive spirit, his quick return drew admiration and criticism. Despite visible discomfort and supportive gear, he finished the season capturing another all-around title. Equipment manufacturers use such incidents to market improved vests and helmets. Murray acknowledged the fine line between triumph and catastrophe, attributing survival to swift medical attention and luck. He eventually retired with impressive records, setting the standard for PRCA all-around titles. 13. Chris Shivers and the Wildrek. Chris Shivers became one of the youngest PBR world champions at 21 in the late 1990s. By 2000, his fearless style and remarkable consistency made him a household name. However, a chilling OMG accident that year demonstrated the sport's unpredictable nature. During a high-profile PBR event, Shivers drew a powerful bull known for explosive leaps. Maintaining excellent form for several seconds, he was suddenly jerked into the metal chute, smashing his left leg. As he sprawled, the bull's horn ripped into his leg, staining his jeans with blood. Bullfighters intervened while shocked Shivers steadied himself against the fence, refusing immediate evacuation. At the hospital, doctors discovered torn ligaments, a deep puncture wound, and extensive bruising. Fortunately, no major artery was severed, but surgery was required to repair the damage. Shivers spent weeks rehabilitating before testing his leg on practice bowls. By late 2000, he returned to competition, riding fearlessly despite visible scars. He credited excellent medical care and unwavering passion for his quick recovery. Shivers secured another world title in 2003 with his 2000 rec remaining pivotal in showcasing both bull riding's hazards and his determination. He later stated that missing those weeks pushed him to refine his training further, ultimately strengthening his competitive edge. 12. Ross Coleman's Arena Tumble. Ross Coleman from Malala, Oregon was a determined PBR rider in the early 2000s. In 2004 at Tacoma, Washington, he faced a brutal accident. Coleman drew a bull known for unpredictable spins, and eager fans anticipated a high-scoring ride from the powerful cowboy. When the chute opened, the bull erupted fiercely. Coleman held through initial bucks, but a sudden twist pitched him forward, landing hard. He momentarily lost consciousness while the bull's hoof came perilously close to his head. Bullfighters intervened just in time. Disoriented, paramedics placed Coleman on a backboard. Hospital tests revealed a fractured cheekbone, multiple cracked ribs, and a severe concussion. Doctors noted how inches could have meant disaster. Surgery addressed the facial fracture with weeks of recovery advised. Despite lingering pain, Coleman pushed for rapid recovery through rigorous physical therapy, including weight training and balance drills. Within months, he returned to the main PBR tour, climbing the standings again. The accident sparked conversations about mandatory helmet use. Coleman upgraded his vest, but didn't regularly use a helmet, citing personal preference. He continued riding professionally for several years with strong performances, eventually retiring with a solid record. Doctors considered his survival near miraculous given the hoof's proximity. 11. Justin McBride's near disaster. Justin McBride, a Nebraska cowboy, captured 2 PBR World Championships in the early 2000s. In 2003 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the top contender who routinely scored in the high 80s and 90s experienced a ride that nearly ended in disaster. He mounted a bull with fast spins and unpredictable bucks. As the gate opened, McBride balanced forward, countering powerful bursts. Mid-ride, the bull spun left, yanking him forward. His vest snagged on the horn, pulling him partially underneath with his left arm and shoulder pinned against the bull's side. Champion rider Justin McBride's vest snagged on the horn, dragging him beneath the bull. His left arm and shoulder were pinned as the animal thrashed, turning a routine ride into a fight for survival. Bullfighters grabbed the bull's attention and pried McBride loose. He tumbled onto the floor, bruised but conscious. X-rays showed a dislocated shoulder, broken collarbone, and deep contusions. Injuries threatening months on the sideline. McBride began physical therapy immediately, wearing a sling for weeks. He credited skilled bullfighters for preventing him from being crushed. Within months, he returned to smaller events, easing back to full strength. By season's end, McBride posted top scores again. He won PBR World Championships in 2005 and 2007, retiring with millions in earnings. He upgraded safety gear and studied bull tendencies more meticulously after the incident. McBride said each injury taught him a technique, ensuring adaptation throughout his successful career. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. On May 14, 2025, 28-year-old Connor Hayes of Amarillo, Texas, faced Thunderhoof at the Panhandle Rodeo. Hayes, known for his fearless approach and flamboyant leather chaps, barely had time to brace as the 1,600-pound bull exploded from the chute. Within seconds, Thunderhoof's horn caught Hayes in the thigh, sending him tumbling across the arena floor. The crowd gasped as he struggled to rise, dust and sand coating his jacket. Rushed to Amarillo Medical Center, scans revealed a fractured pelvis and deep contusions. Doctors emphasized the severity of the injuries. Yet Hayes insisted he would ride again, citing his family's ranching legacy and the adrenaline that kept him drawn to the sport. The rodeo pressed on under a shadow of awe and concern. Spectators whispering about the young rider who dared to challenge one of the fiercest bulls of the season. 10. Mason Lowe's fatal accident. On January 15, 2019, the professional bull riders circuit lost one of its rising stars when 25-year-old Mason Lowe suffered a fatal accident at the National Western Stock Show in Denver. That evening, Lowe climbed onto a bull named Hard Times before a packed arena. As the gate opened, the bull exploded with power, sending Lowe into a hard fall. He attempted to scramble clear, but the bull's hind legs came crashing down on his chest. Spectators were horrified to see him rise briefly before collapsing just outside the chute. Arena medics rushed in and transported him to the hospital, but the damage was catastrophic. Doctors later confirmed that the impact had crushed his chest, causing fatal internal injuries. News of his passing spread quickly through the rodeo community, shaking both fans and fellow riders. Lowe had been ranked 18th in the world standings at the time, admired for his courage and style. 9. Boudreaux Campbell knocked unconscious in November 2021 at the PBR World Finals in Las Vegas. Rising star Boudreaux Campbell endured a frightening moment. At just 23 years old, Campbell had already made a name for himself with a fearless style and championship potential. That night, he drew a bull with a reputation for explosive bucking power. The gate swung open, and for several seconds, Campbell matched the bull's violent energy. Then, in a sudden shift, the animal's massive head struck him directly in the face. The force knocked Campbell instantly unconscious, sending him limp to the dirt as the bull continued thrashing. Fans watched in horror as rodeo clowns swarmed in, trying to divert the bull's attention while paramedics rushed forward. Campbell did not move, heightening fears of a severe head injury. After several tense moments, he was carried out of the arena on a stretcher. At the hospital, doctors confirmed a concussion, but no fractures. While he eventually recovered, the images of him lying motionless left a deep impression. Campbell later returned to competition, but the terrifying incident showed the ongoing dangers of head trauma in professional bull riding. 8. Frank Mauney vs. Maverick. Frank Mauney got run over by Maverick. Newsom had spent his career protecting riders. He was the guardian angel of the arena, the last line of defense. This time, nobody was protecting him from Maverick's wrath. This time, the protector became the victim. Maverick charged like a freight train. Newsom tried to dodge, but 1,700 pounds of fury is impossible to avoid. The bull trampled him completely, driving every ounce of weight into Newsom's rib cage. Bones snapped like kindling under the pressure. Broken ribs punctured his lung, causing it to collapse instantly. Mauney gasped for air that wouldn't come. The arena fell silent as medics rushed to save the bullfighter's life. This wasn't entertainment anymore. Emergency surgery followed that night. Surgeons worked for hours to repair the damage Maverick had inflicted. "Maverick ran me over like roadkill," Newsom said from the hospital. "Lucky to be breathing." After weeks of grueling recovery and months of physical therapy, Newsom eventually returned to the arena, his body scarred but his spirit unbroken, proving that even the fiercest hit couldn't keep him down. 7. Amado Silva vs. Classic Man. Amado Campo Silva came to America chasing a dream. The 22-year-old Brazilian had competed in the 2020 PBR World Finals and was considered a rising star with immense potential. August 29, 2021 at the Save Mart Center in Fresno was supposed to be another step toward that world championship. Instead, it became bull riding's darkest reminder that some wrecks don't offer second chances. Silva was 5.3 seconds into his ride on Classic Man when his spur caught in the flank rope. A freak accident that pulled him underneath the bull. Classic man's hoof came down on Silver's chest with devastating force. The bull wasn't being aggressive. It was just bucking normally, but normal doesn't matter when 1,500 pounds lands on a human rib cage. Silver was rushed to Community Regional Medical Center where he passed away that afternoon. His father, former bull rider Flavio Campo Silva, had moved to the United States to support his son's dream. The kid who wanted to buy his family a ranch in Brazil never got the chance. 6. Keishan White Horse vs. Soup in a Group. Keishan White learned that Soup in a Group doesn't care about your Rookie of the Year trophy. The Bismarck Team Challenge was supposed to be another stepping stone for the Navajo Nation star. Instead, it became a painful reminder of bull riding's brutal reality. White Horse had been riding bulls that broke other men's careers, but Soup in a Group specialized in humbling champions. He looked solid through the first few jumps. His form was textbook, his grip secure, but Soup in a Group had been studying film, too. The bull planted and twisted with surgical precision. White Horse's knee absorbed the full torque. He hit the dirt clutching his leg, but the damage was already done. A swollen knee and heavy bruising painted a road map of pain across his joint. The 2018 Rookie of the Year walked away with only soreness and swelling. No immediate structural damage reported. For riders like White Horse, that qualified as a lucky day. It was a hard wreck to watch, observers noted afterward, but White Horse had proven his toughness all season. 5. Jerome Davis. Jerome Davis suffered one of the most catastrophic injuries in modern bull riding during a 1998 ride at the Tuff Hedeman Championship Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. He was mounted on a powerful bull when a violent motion threw him forward and his head collided with the animal, which compressed and violently twisted his neck. Medical examinations later described a fracture and dislocation at the base of his skull and cervical spine, an injury that severed critical neural pathways. Emergency personnel stabilized him at the arena and rushed him to a hospital where doctors confirmed that the spinal trauma had caused paralysis from the chest down. The diagnosis ended his professional career and immediately altered every part of daily life. Despite the life-altering injury, he faced the future with determination, learning to navigate a world that had suddenly changed forever. 4. Silvano Alves pelvis break. Silvano Alves, a three-time PBR world champion from Brazil, suffered one of the most disturbing OMG injuries of his career in 2015 during an event in Naperville, Oklahoma. Alves had already built a reputation as one of the most consistent riders in the sport, known for staying calm under pressure and handling some of the toughest bulls in the world. That night, he mounted a bull with an unpredictable twisting style. Within seconds of the chute opening, Alves lost control and crashed violently to the ground. Before he could move, the bull's hooves came down squarely on his hips and pelvis, pinning him against the dirt. He grimaced in pain as medics rushed in while the bullfighters worked to draw the animal away. Alves was taken to the hospital where doctors discovered multiple pelvic fractures. The injury was so severe that he required surgery and an extended recovery period, casting doubt on whether he could return to the sport. Against the odds, Alves rehabilitated and eventually made his comeback. 3. Stormy Wing's concussion. Stormy Wing's career ended in the most terrifying way possible when Sunant delivered a blow that would change everything. March 23, 2019, started like any other night on the PBR Tour. Wing had climbed on hundreds of bulls before. He'd taken his share of hits, walked away from countless wrecks. But Sunant wasn't interested in adding another routine buck-off to Wing's highlight reel. The wreck itself happened in a blur. Wing got thrown hard, his body whipping through the air like a flag in a hurricane. When he hit the dirt, something was different. This wasn't just another hard landing. Sunant's massive frame had done internal damage that nobody could see. Wing's brain was bleeding. An intracranial hemorrhage, the doctors called it. The kind of injury that kills people who aren't wearing helmets. The diagnosis forced Wing to face reality. At 24 years old, he had to walk away from the only life he'd ever known. Accepting retirement was the best decision for my future, Wing said months later. Some things are bigger than 8 seconds. The sport lost a rising star that night, but Wing kept his life. To Luke Snyder tossed versus My Kind of Party. Luke Snyder thought he had My Kind of Party figured out. The 2013 Cooper tires